Hey guys, what's up? Hey, this is Grandpa Kent here in front of me. It is a Axial Pro, and at the moment I have a, let me get the body. I have a Fusion, an old Fusion Pro in it. At the moment, it is filthy because I haven't cleaned any of my rigs except for King Midas since I got back from Proline by the Fire. Anyway, my son, for my birthday, picked me up this Fusion, the new Fusion Outrunner with the 10 BL80, and we're going to get it installed and take it for a drive. Not sure if it's going to stay. It may or may not. I mean, they're both Fusions, so I'm sure this is great. I really haven't had I've ran the motor by hand, and it was odd that, because I tried it out at Proline by the Fire, just holding it by hand and running it, and the motor and the ESC was getting warm. So that was a little odd. But let's get it installed, and but first I'm going to clean Grandpa Kent, and then we'll take it for a drive. Okay, the cleaning's done. Let's get the motor in. It's always something. I got the motor installed. I got to solder on some JST plugs for my lights and my servo. All right, got it installed. Wow, that's a lot of extra room there. Excuse me. Got to hick them up every once in a while. Look at the difference in the length. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, that's quite a bit of difference in length. That's my wiring job. That's about as clean as it's going to get. I'm running two 2200 3 cell lipos, not in series or anything, just one at a time. It just balances the rig. The side trays, the sliders, it's literally the lowest spot in the chassis, so I like to run them there, especially if I already have plenty of forward weight bias. But I've been driving it this morning and yesterday for a little bit, and my son drove it, and it runs good. With the lighter weight, I can take better lines, because you lose just that weight off the chassis. Just my first thoughts, I'm impressed. It's really smooth. It has plenty of torque. I would like to say I do love Holmes Hobby's revolvers and his magnetics probably more than anybody, but this is still very nice. I don't have anything turned up. It's all stock, just the way it came out of the box. I will get on there and turn the BEC up to 8.4. You can run it in 6, 7.4, and 8.4, and continuous amp output on the BEC is 5 amps, I believe. It didn't say it in the little manual, but I've seen them before. Most your 1080s and stuff like that, they have a continuous of 5 and a peak of like 9 or 10 or 8, whatever it is. But it's plenty to run a servo that's making 600-700 ounces of torque. I've never had a problem with any of the Hobbywing stuff, but I love the fact that it has an 80 amp output, for the motor, and an unbelievable 240 peak amp, which will allow you to pretty much run any motor you want to run. I originally got the ESC because I wanted to try it out on one of John's big blocks, his Power Pro 4274 1/8 motor, which has a 1/6 scale rotor in it. So I'll try that later. But right now, let's get this out on the rocks. I have my phone Velcroed to my DX5C. That's how I normally film. I'm not real good at one-handed driving and filming like Joe Collins of XO Cage RC, which is, he's become a hell of a driver. And I think I just got worse. I'm going to move my winch cable to the back here to get it out of the way. There we go. I've already taken this line earlier today, and I'm already screwing it up. Oh, I don't know if you guys really care or not. I know a lot of people believe that this is FOC. I was talking to the guy at the Hobbywing booth at Proline by the Fire, and I asked him if the 10BL80 had FOC, and he told me, so I'm quoting him, that only the Fusions have FOC, because the Fusion has a sensor in it to the rotor. So this does have sign. So I'm assuming, my takeaway, you can let me know in the comments, because I'm sure there's some out there that watch this video that's far more educated on this than I am, you know, about sign, because you know, I don't get on the internet and really search the snot out of this stuff, but I was always under the assumption that FOC and sign was the same thing, and Hobbywing just calls it FOC, but apparently their version of FOC has a sensor. There we go. Sometimes you just got to use a little bit of throttle. You know how that is. Some things just can't be crawled. I did notice that I can take slightly better lines, and I think that just goes without saying when you lighten the rig up. Now see, I've driven that like 3 times today, and it never flipped on me. That just shows the more I drive, the worse I get. Of course, I wasn't holding the camera either. Make sure I keep the rig in the frame. This is kind of my pure Axial rig, because it's obviously it's an Axial Pro, you know, that my kids gifted me for Father's Day a couple of years ago, which was a hell of a surprise, and just a really awesome surprise. And then I was like, you know what, I don't have a pure Axial rig, so I pulled out some old SCX10 beadlocks, you know, the 1.9s that came in after the Scorpions, and I threw some old G8 TSLs on there, and I'm trying to remember if I'm running 2-stage foams. I do got to pull the punch up a little bit, or unless that's just the magnetics on the motor. You know what, I'm going to take this other line I've been trying. Now, usually this line that I'm trying to take, I went down too far. I'm going to reposition it. This line over here, which is, oh man, I'm going to have to glue that in. I was taking some hard tumbles at Proline by the Fire, and I haven't really fixed all the little things that I pop back on there. But usually this line I'm trying to take now, I've only been able to do with one of my couple of my rear steer rigs. Oh, there we go again. That was funny because I was able to hit that line earlier, like twice. I hit that line. I wonder if oh, you know what? I think my sorry about that. I don't know if my overdrive's turned on or not. I think it is. I think it is now. Get over here. It's always a fun line. I restacked these rocks like I don't know how many years ago, and I just ruined a bunch of the lines. And it had some great lines, and I just messed them up. So I'm always out here trying to figure out new lines. Oh, I must not be as I'm not being as careful as I was earlier. I'm totally flubbing up this line, guys. I'm sorry. It's not very representative of the new motor, not being able to hit these lines. Yeah, see, I already slid off again. I'm gonna roll again. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I promise, it did hit that line earlier, and I haven't been able to hit it with the fusion ender because it's heavy. But I've kept this rig really light. The only way I have in it is in the front wheels. I have a wrap of lead around each wheel. Well, and then I have, what is these, SSD right here covers that are brass. I wonder if I use the winch as a suck down winch, if that would help. Almost guys. There we go. Sorry, that wasn't very impressive driving. I've got to roll it again. See, I took this line earlier today too, and then I took it twice earlier. One time I made it, and the other time my rear drive shaft popped off. Hey, I lengthened just a real quick like a real quick tip on these drive shafts. If you have them popping out, here, right here, if you have them popping out because it goes to one side and it's not very much engaged and your axle drops down and it pops out, I took an internal spring, you know, an RC four-wheel drive internal spring. You could use any springs. Cut it in half. I put half the spring in here and half the spring on the other side, and it keeps it centered. I meant to do that a long time ago and I didn't, so after it popped out earlier today, I went in the garage and did it. But here's the motor. I checked it earlier after a little bit of running, and it was staying nice and cool, which is kind of weird because when I was at Pearline by the Fire, my buddy was holding it and I was running it, and the wire started getting hot. So you can tell me why it was doing that or not. Anyway, what do you guys think? And let me know about the sign, you know, the difference between sign and FOC, if that's what you've learned. Anyway, you guys have a great week, Goodbye.